welcome this Thursday evening of Halloween week. I thought now, since it's Halloween week, it's a good time to talk about our fears. Um, we have fears of the known, like snakes and heights, and then there's fear of the unknown, like what's hiding behind the next corner in the haunted house, and what's coming up next week with the election. So lots of fears. We can embrace our fears, hold on to them tightly, and make them part of who we are, or we can choose to fight our fears and maybe overcome them. So we choose how we want to respond. We can do fight or flight. We can do courage or fear. It's up to us how we choose to respond. When I was a kid growing up in Chicago, my first experience swimming in an open water was dark, cold, murky Lake Michigan. And I was probably 6 or 7 years old. And I'm in there swimming around, walking around. And all of a sudden, something touched my leg. And I freaked out. And I ran out of there screaming, "It touched me." And ever since then, I have not liked being in dark water that I can't see through. I much prefer the nice, clear Caribbean where I can see what's coming at me. So I found the place in the middle for me. I avoid dark waters, but I also became a scuba diver. I wanted to see what's in the water with me, or at least know what's coming towards me, get a sneak preview. Speaking of fear of the unknown, a fire truck just drove past. Hope we're not on fire. Not sure about that. Um, so, scuba diving itself can be scary because, again, you're diving into water, jumping into water that you a lot of times can't see into, and you don't know what you're diving into. My place in the middle for that is to let somebody jump in first other than me. So, and again, there might be like a kraken in the water. You just never know these days. So I had to find my courage every time I dove into the water, but I did it. So I overcame my fear. And we all make choices. We make, and our responses may change over time. It wasn't until I was an adult that I chose to overcome my fear of dark, murky waters and become a scuba diver. And our yoga practice, that changes over time also. There may be some poses that you have been afraid of doing that in the past that now you have the courage to do them. Or the opposite of that can also be true. There may be some that you were willing to do earlier, but now you choose not to. I know crow for me, that arm balance, is not a favorite pose of mine anymore because I had a bike accident and broke my jaw, and anything where I'm teetering with my face about to hit the floor makes me a little nervous. So I definitely have a fear with that one. And that's a fear of the known, I will tell you that. So we find our place in the middle. And for me, I don't do crow pose anymore. Or if I do it with a block or a pillow so that my head has something to fall onto and I protect my jaw. So the element of water is part of what I've been talking about. And our pelvis is associated with water. And we carry our fears and our anxieties in our pelvis and our hips. And so today we're going to do some hip openers. Nothing to be scared about though, but we may encounter some fish. So with that, please take a good seat, good manual inner rotation of your thighs, sit up well, kind of put some puffs of air in your side ribs to lengthen your spine. And close your eyes. Always remember, when you have courage, your heart opens and you understand yourself and find joy. So close your eyes, take your thoughts inward, focus on your breath. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, exhale, cleansing breath. Inhale to Om. Om. And flutter your eyes open. Come to hands and knees. Pad as you wish. As I usually do, we are going to start with cat-cow. After I spend the whole day sitting at my desk, my home office desk as it is, I find cat and cow is very helpful for opening my back, my spine, my shoulders up. So hips over knees, shoulders over wrists, wrist creases in line with the front edge of your mat. Arc for cow, arch for cat, exhaling for cat, our spooky Halloween cat. And inhale for your cow, exhale for cat, and do that on your own, as big or small as you like, stretching out after a long day, or maybe you're watching this first thing in the morning. It's a good way to just wake everything up. Next time you come to center, pause, inhale, and on an exhale, curl to your right, looking over your arm towards your toes. Inhale to center, exhale to your left, again, looking past your arm to your toes. On an inhale, to come to center, and at your own pace, exhale to the side, and inhale at center. Do a couple of those. Next time you come to center, pause. Extend your right leg back, toes curl under, stretching your calf, your Achilles, your toes, your foot. Stretch it back and forth. From your inner thigh, lift your leg hip height, extend the opposite arm. Stretch it out. Again, a nice good stretch here. Inhale, and on an exhale, bring your knee and elbow to meet. Inhale, extend. Exhale, meet. Inhale, extend. Exhale, meet. And place them on the floor. Extend your left foot back. Stretch it out. From your inner thigh, lift your leg hip height. Extend your opposite arm. And breathe. On an exhale, bring your elbow and knee to meet. Inhale, extend. Exhale, meet. Inhale, extend. Exhale, meet. And release. Now for some forearm planks. Lean down your elbows and make a diamond so that you can do it with your hands parallel, your forearms, there we go, parallel to each other, or bring your hands, I like to cross my hands in front of me. Extend your feet out long on the mat, curling your toes under. So you are lifted up into plank pose. Your shoulders are above your elbows, so directly in line with your elbows. You can rock forward and backwards a little bit if you like. Be sure to engage your core, so bring your navel to your spine. Melt your shoulders and breathe. Release, come to child's pose. We're going to do Ujjayi breathing in our child's pose today. This is a good thing to do to calm yourself, which is helpful if you're in a fearful situation. So to do Ujjayi breathing, you breathe through your nose and you constrict the back of your throat. So you end up making kind of an ocean sound, or some people think it sounds like Darth Vader. Do that a few times, should have a nice calming effect. When you're ready, release that. Send your right foot forward, a little forward ahead of your knee. For low lunges, curl your back toes of your left leg, left foot. Rise up, scissor your legs, and lean forward. Keep your knee in line with your ankle. Scissor your legs, engage your core, and breathe. And release, switch feet. Again, your foot's a little ahead of your knee to begin with, and your back toes are curled. Scissor your legs, lean forward. The reason we scissor our legs and keep our back toe curled under is so we don't dump into the pose, which is bad for our knees and our hips. We want a nice stretch, but we don't want to overdo it here. And release. And something from our last week, point your toes out towards the corners of your mat, come down to a squat, a frog squat. I said we were doing hip openers, so this is our lunges and our frog squat. These are good wake up, warm up hip openers. And special treat here, if you can do it, we're going to root down and rise up. So on an inhale, root down and rise up. Good job. Come to stand at the front of your mat for Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet are hip width apart, parallel to each other. Stand well. Lift your toes and connect the four corners of your feet, starting with the ball of the big toe. Press that down. Energetically lift the inner arch, tack down the inner heel, fan out to the ball of the baby toe, press that down, energetically lift, or at least try your outer arches, and tack down the outer heel. You should feel your legs engaged like you're pulling on a dive suit to go jump in the water with the Kraken. So this is our courageous mountain. Thighs back, tailbone in, puffs of air between your side ribs. And you can place your toes, extend long out on the floor if you've not done that already, and close your eyes and breathe. Feel how your hips are directly above your ankles. Your shoulders are directly above your hips. Shoulders directly above your hips. And your head is resting above your shoulders. Your shoulders are carrying your head. They don't have to carry the weight of the world. They just have to carry your head. You can open your eyes and rise up and fold down all the way down to the floor. Halfway up, extending your heart. Forward fold. Hands on your hips. Halfway up, shrug your shoulders, head of the arm bones back, root down to rise up. Forward fold again, down to the floor. Exhaling, inhale halfway up, exhale down. Hands on your hips, halfway up. On an inhale, root down, rise all the way up. Hands to heart center. And raise your arms again. We're going to pretend like we're pulling a lap bar down. So grab onto it and isometrically just pretend like you're pulling that lap bar down till you get to 90 degrees, and then you can do a little back bend. So a lap bar cactus here, and breathe. Release, rise up. Lap bar, isometrically pull it down to 90 degrees. Cactus arms, baby back bend. Release. Place your hands on your shoulders. Going to do some circles with our elbows. Start small, forward. Don't forget to breathe. Make them bigger. If you hear or feel anything crunching, go back to smaller so that you avoid those scary sounds. Reverse, start small. Go bigger as you're comfortable. And release. Come to the front of your mat. Extend your left leg back for a lunge. Your back feet are, your back foot. Your heel is up and your toes are pulled under, of course. Scissor your legs. Thighs back, tailbone in, engage your core. On an inhale, on an exhale, twist. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Release, and we're going to do bow and scrape, which I like to use blocks for that. For that, we straighten our front leg and bend our back leg. And keep going between the two, scraping and bowing. Should be a nice stretch that you feel in your hamstring of the front leg. Next time you're in lunge, pivot your left foot down, rise up, windmill into warrior two. I'm going to turn around so I'm facing you. Warrior two. Heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. Your knee is in line with your second and third toes. Arms are parallel to the floor. Scissor your legs. Breathe. Thighs back, tailbone in. Reverse your warrior. Send your left arm down your back leg and your right arm up, like you're looking in a mirror. Keep your front leg bent and breathe. Windmill down to down dog. You can walk out your dog. Move my blocks here. Go to plank, forward to plank. Micro bend your elbows, melt your chest. Send your belly button towards your spine and breathe. Push back to down dog. For some hip openers now, raise your left leg, stack your hips, bend your raised foot, keep that foot flexed, and open into what somebody told me is called scorpion dog, which totally makes sense. And breathe. Release. And bring your right foot forward. Is that correct? Do I have the right? Let's see. I'm sorry. So we started with the left foot back, so now right foot back. Okay, sorry. Switching sides and all that gets me all confused. So lunge, other side, how's that? Scissor your legs. Knee is in line with your ankle. Inhale, on an exhale, twist. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Scissor your legs for stability. And release. Grab your blocks for bow and scrape. You might need to jump your back foot up a little bit. Bow is straightening the front leg. I have to keep a little micro bend in that knee so that I don't overextend. Scrape is coming forward into lunge. So do that back and forth a couple times. However big or small feels right for you. Next time you're in lunge, pivot your back foot, windmill up into warrior two. Knee in line with the second and third toes, heel in line with the back arch. Your back foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat or maybe a little bit angled forward. We have the courage of a warrior here. Flip your top arm, send your back arm down your leg and raise your front arm. Remember to keep your front leg bent. And breathe. We've got courage of the warrior. We can take on anything the world puts up against us. Windmill down to dog. Walk your dog. Come forward to plank, micro bend your elbows, melt your heart, send your belly button towards your spine. Push back to dog and open your dog with whatever is the opposite foot of what you did last time, which I, at this point, cannot recall. So scorpion dog here, opposite foot of what we did before. Reset your foot. Walk your hands back to your feet at the back of the mat. Hands on your hips, shrug your shoulders, head of the arm bones back, root down to rise up. And hula hoop asana. So just kind of work our hips out here a little bit. Go one direction and the opposite direction. And release. Now to be fearless goddesses this evening. That's what it's all about. Take a wide stance with your feet angled towards the edges of your mat. Come down to a high squat, I guess we could call this, and hands at cactus arms. for our fearless goddess pose. Scissor your legs, thighs back, tailbone in. Engage your core. And breathe. Rise up. And put your hands where your hip crease is. Well, put them on your waist first, and then slide down to your hip crease. This is where we're going to bend from. We are bending. We're just tilting forward, coming to place our hands on the ground, but we are tilting from our hip crease rather than our waist. Place your hands on the floor. Move your weight to your right foot and lean towards your right. So your left leg ends up long. You should feel a nice stretch on your inner thigh, your groin area. On an inhale, come to center. Exhale to your left. Inhale, come to center. Switch to the other side. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, come to center. Grab your right foot with both hands. Bring your body, kind of a mild twist. Bring your chest towards your knee. It's not going to make it, but this is just a mild twist that should feel good on your hamstrings. Release, slide through center, grab your left foot. Again, a mild twist to open your chest towards your left leg. Release, come to child's pose. Feel free to do the Ujjayi breathing if you need to calm yourself or just because you think it sounds cool. Come up, come to seated wide leg. Extend your feet towards the opposite ends of the mat. And let's see. Sorry about this, guys. Okay. Again, from your hip crease, lean forward. You might want to grab a block and gently kind of crawl your arms forward. You can rest your head on a block if that feels good. Just flex your feet to protect your knees. If you're really flexible, you're welcome to go down further, but there's really no need to do that for us mere mortals. And rise up. Grab your left foot. And you might need a strap for that. I'm flexible and can reach my feet pretty well, but not everybody can. Bring your body towards your foot, flexing your foot. You may feel this in your calf and or your hamstring. Release, come through center, grab your right foot, and breathe. So even though we did these both standing up, I think they feel different when we're on the ground. We're more centered, obviously, and they just kind of hit different body parts, and we just experience them differently when we're not worried about falling over, that fear of falling over. Release. And come to hero pose. We are We're all heroes tonight, overcoming our fears. So this is hero pose. You're sitting back on your heels with your bum on your heels. If that's not comfortable for you, you can place a block, or you can place a blanket. Got to get your blanket up really close to behind your knees and sit back. And sit well, kind of the way we stood in Tadasana with our shoulders directly above our hips. Feel for that now also. So you're sitting up well with puffs of air in between your side ribs to extend your spine. And breathe. You were a fearless goddess, now we are a fearless hero. And release. Now for a seated twist. You can do this with your legs long, or some people prefer to do it with one leg back. So we are going to cross our left leg over our right. So you can do it again with your feet like this, or if you prefer, you can keep your leg long on the mat, which I'm going to keep it that way, just to protect my knees. My knees are more comfortable with it this way. If you do it this way, you can have your leg kind of on a slight diagonal. And on it, grab your left leg with your right hand, place your left hand behind you on the floor. Inhale, rise up, exhale, twist. And you don't have to go all the way at the beginning. We're gonna take a couple moves to get to our full extent. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. And your head should stay in line with your sternum. I'm not very good at that, but that's what you're supposed to do. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. If you want, you can bring your right elbow against on the outside of your right knee. That is right hand on the outside of your left knee, and twist a little bit further. Your head is the last thing to twist. And release. Take a mild twist to the other side to kind of undo that a little bit. Switch feet. Send your right knee across your left leg. Left hand on your right leg, right hand behind you. Rise up. On an inhale, lengthen. On an exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Again, if you want, you can set your left hand on the outside of your right knee. Inhale, exhale, twist. Last thing to twist is your head, and it doesn't need to go much further than the rest of your body. We need to respect our necks. And release. All right, now for the scary part, the abs. I think it's important to do abs, even just a little bit with each of our yoga practices. You might fear that, or you might be okay with it. Find the place in the middle for you. And also find your sitting bones. So kind of rock back and forth. You'll kind of feel like a little bump in the middle there. Find that middle spot. Feet are on the ground, heels are on the ground, toes are pointed up. Lean back, robot arms. Inhale, on an exhale, turn to your right. And breathe. Inhale, center. Exhale to the side and breathe. Inhale, center. Exhale, side. Breathe. Inhale, center. Exhale, left side. And release. Yay. But we're talking water and scuba diving and all that, so you know there's got to be a boat involved. Sorry. So tilt back on your sitting bones, find your sitting bones again. Grab your legs behind your thighs. Lift your legs up. Extend your legs long. You can keep your hands here. You can set them behind you. You can send them out long in front of you or raise them up. Whatever boat you want to be, use all the strength you've had as a warrior and a hero and a goddess to make your best boat. And release. Let's curl up and roll a little bit to work through that. So on your back, curling, rock back and forth. Set your feet down, knees up. Feet should be about mat width apart and windshield wiper. So send your legs to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. And do it in slow motion, raising up, sending them to the other side, just gently. It's a nice gentle rain we're dealing with, so our windshield wipers don't need to go too quickly. Next time you come to the right side, pause. If you want a little bit more, you can place your right foot on top of, or your right, the side of your right foot on top of your left knee. My knee's not real happy with that tonight, so I'm not going to do that. Undo that, come to center, send your legs back to the left side. If you want, you can add a little weight with the other foot on top of your right leg. That knee's okay, so I'm going to do that one. For me, that's a really good side stretch. Release. Come to seated. So a really good hip opener, and this is something to be scared of, so I apologize in advance for it, but there's a pose called fire log, and we are going to sit cross-legged, but our legs are going to be parallel to each other instead of crossed. So you can do it from staff pose. So sit well, sit up, and engage your muscles in your legs. Flex your feet and breathe. Then take your left foot, cross it over your left leg at the knee. Bring your, okay, so your left leg is crossing over your right knee. Sorry about that. And scoot your right leg up and bring it under the other leg so that your shins are parallel to each other, flexing your feet. In theory, they're supposed to be nicely stacked on top of each other. My hips are not open, so my knees, my top leg is kind of wonky, as you can see. And that just means I need to do more of these, right? I need to work more on my hip openers. But breathe in this pose so that you don't pass out. Keep your feet flexed. And release. Another way to get into this, instead of doing it via so you can do it from staff pose by sliding your foot up and then sliding the other one up, or you can just bend the bottom leg so that it is 90 degrees, or that it's parallel to the long edge or to the edge of your mat, and then reach your other leg on top of it so that they are stacked evenly and you are parallel to the edge of your mat. Your shins are parallel to the edge of your mat. Sit up well. You're looking good out there. And breathe. Flex your feet. And release your legs. If you're holding some tension in your legs, release that. The pose is easier if you're not stressed about it, if you're not fearing it. And release. Let's just kind of give our legs a little jiggle to kind of work that out, that ugly pose. And then let's sit regular crisscross applesauce style. Rise up and tilt at your hip creases, tilt forward, kind of walk out. Also a good hip opener without the stress of fire log. Again, if you want, like we did earlier, you can set a block and set your head down if that's comfortable for you. Release, push back to rise up. Switch the cross of your legs. Have to keep everything even here. From your hips, lean forward. We don't want to round forward. We don't want a slump asana. We want a nice natural curve to our backs. So we just want to lean forward, kind of walking our hands out. And then when you get as far as you can that way, then you're welcome to place your head on the block, which might require you to slump a little bit, round a little bit. And breathe. Should feel nice hip opener here. And release. Come to your back. With your feet on the floor and knees pointed up. For my favorite new quad stretch, which is also a hip flexor stretch. So your feet are on the floor, your knees are pointing up. Send your right foot towards your left bum. So it's your right knee is towards the floor and pushing towards the front edge of your mat. Send your lower ribs also down towards the mat. You can hold on to your right foot if that's comfortable for you, or place your hands wherever they are most comfortable. Bus stop yoga, we've got a couple variations here. If you want to do them, great. If you like this part of it, stick with this. Variations, you can grab your left knee and bring your leg towards you, or you can take that left foot and place it on your right leg for a little weight. If you do either of those, always make sure that you are sending your lower ribs towards the mat to keep your low back curve. This is a good pose for opening our hip flexors, but also for keeping our back happy. If our quads are happy and our hip flexors are happy, that makes for a happy back. Release. Grab your other foot, bring it towards your right butt cheek, Extend your knee down towards the mat, sending your knee towards the front edge of your mat. It's not going to go there, but that's what you're thinking about. Send your lower ribs, back ribs towards the mat. Variations, you can bring your right leg up towards you. That, to me, extends the hip flexor stretch. Or place your right foot on your left leg to kind of give it a little added weight there. Again, extending the hip flexor stretch. And breathe. Kind of a little push-pull action going on here. And release. Now, Baddha Konasana. This is something we did a couple weeks ago. Place your feet out on the mat, legs out on the mat in kind of a diamond shape, so the soles of your feet are touching each other, and your knees are pointing out towards the opposite walls. So your legs are in a big diamond shape. And just breathe and relax. Again, a hip opener, but more of a passive hip opener. When you're done with that, place your feet back on the ground, knees pointing up. Place your left leg over your right leg. And this is our ride our Harley pose. Scoot your right foot towards the left edge of the mat. Slide your hands down your legs to grab your ankles. Extend your feet out. You should feel this in your left piriformis, which is somewhere, you'll be thinking it's your butt. It is your piriformis. Keep your low back curve. Make sure your neck is not the one doing this pose. This should be your legs. And flex your feet while you're doing this. And breathe. Release. Switch the cross of your feet so that your left foot is, left knee is crossed tightly over your right leg is crossed over your left leg, tightly crossed at the knee. Raise your legs towards you. Slide your hands down towards your ankles. They may not meet your ankles, but somewhere close. Extend your feet out. You can pull your feet towards you, and you should feel this in your right piriformis. Again, make sure your neck is not helping you do this pose. Release. Let's do windshield wiper after that one. I'm gonna release everything. Then send your feet up towards the ceiling with the soles of your feet staring at the ceiling. Hands raised up also, and dead bug pose. Wiggle everything. Release everything that we did here. And release. Come to seated. And grab a block. We're dealing with water, so we got to have a bridge. Lay back down. Place your block under your sacrum for supported bridge. Snuggle your shoulder blades under your under your back. Hands in robot arms helps you do that. You can keep your feet on the floor. You can raise them up for a drawbridge. You can extend them out for suspension bridge, whatever your favorite bridge is. And breathe. If you want to make it a more active bridge, press down into your feet and push your hips up off of the block. Send your chin a little bit away from your chest to keep a curve to your chin, to your neck. Come back down onto the block. Release the block out from under you. Grab your other block for supported fish. Again, we're in the water, we gotta have fish. So my preferred fish, supported fish, is with them both up higher. So the one for my head, I like to do at the full height, and the one for my back at the second height. They should be relatively close together in a bit of a T here. When you come to lay on them, kind of the bra strap area for us women goes onto the edge of the block, the bottom block, and then your head rests on the top block. Extend your legs out long on the mat. You can extend your arms out wide for supported fish. This is not the scary fish that attacked me in Lake Michigan. This is a nice relaxing fish that we saw coming. And our next pose is our final resting pose, Shavasana. Feel free to stay in the supported fish pose for Shavasana, or if you prefer, remove the blocks gently out from under you and come to lay flat on your mat. If you need a blanket or anything like that to be comfortable, but lay in a pose that's comfortable for you for final resting. We found courage as warriors, heroes, and goddesses tonight, and use that strength in our boats. Let that courage melt into joy as you relax in Shavasana. Relax your breathing. Relax your toes, your ankles, your legs, your hips, your torso, your shoulders, your elbows, your arms, your hands, and your fingers. Relax your neck and your jaw and your ears and your mouth, your tongue, your nose, and your eyes. Return to your breath. Start to have gentle waking movements. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Yawn. Stretch out as you like. And when you're ready, roll to your favorite side. And pause there a moment. Enjoy this final moment before you have to return to your day. When you're ready, use your arms to push you up. Come to seated, comfortable seat. Extend your arms long out to your sides. Raise them up, gathering up all the courageous and joyful energy in the room. Bring your hands together above your head. Bring them down to heart center. Namaste. Thank you.